So, and that's really what it was up until this point in time.
Okay, so you're working for Cowboys for Angels, and you get a call that there's a celebrity client, and they don't tell you who it is yet.
No, they don't tell me who it is. All they told me was it was a celebrity client, last name Lopez. And then they went on, as I'm on the way to the hotel, they're like, yeah, so just ask for Mr. Lopez. And in my head, I'm like, this is a straight male escort agency. So I'm trying to figure out what Mr., how does this work into the situation? I'm like, they knew that wasn't my thing. So I'm thinking in my head, like George Lopez or Jennifer Lopez. It could be like, I'm thinking any Lopez celebrity name. So then I get to the hotel and the front desk clerk walks me upstairs. I said, I'm there for Mr. Lopez. Get up there, it's like Latin music playing in the hallway. So I'm really thinking this is a Hispanic person, celebrity, still trying to rack my brain to figure out who it is. And door opens up and Diddy's just standing there in like a black wife beater and some shorts. And he's like, what's up, man? I'm like, oh. First thought was like, oh, it's Diddy. Like, this is, and then I was like, oh no, it's Diddy. Because at this point in time, people still, those accusations were out there. So I'm like, I had to double take that for a second. But it was chill. Like, walked right in and it was pretty easy. Got in there, it looked like an episode of Cribs. It was nothing but Ciroc from like bottom to top of the shelf in the refrigerator, drinking Ciroc, sitting, chilling. He offered me a joint, we smoking. He seemed like he was very cool guy. He just got off of some knee surgery for and was doing some type of commercial about his recovery at that point in time. So all in all, when this very beginning, it was more so very chill, just kind of hanging out, smoking, chilling. Not until like a couple hours into that did he tell me like, oh, what were you doing tonight? And you're about to have the best Valentine's Day of your life. And then Cassie walks out.
Okay, so Cassie comes in red lingerie.
Mm-hmm.
And you knew who she was right away.
Immediately. I'm a year younger than her. So I grew up with the Me and You song and stuff. I'm like, okay, this is crazy. I don't believe that I'm really here right now, but let's see where this goes. So.
Okay, so then the two of you started to talk.
Yeah, we started talking. He left the room for a second, and mind you, when I got in there, I didn't really know what was gonna happen, but I just noticed like there's a lot of towels, white towels on all the couches and the furniture and stuff. There's a red light over in the side. They're playing like, some very vibey music. And there's like a ton of baby oil, like scattered about everywhere, like more than any one man should have, and especially in a hotel room, right? So he had got up and left, and I'm looking at her. I'm like, I made the joke like, there's so much baby oil and candles in here. Like, one wrong move and we all gonna die. We all gonna blow up in this thing. So, but she was very communicative in the fact that she was joking and very playful with me. She told me that she picked me from the site, and it seemed as if this was something that they'd been doing for some years. They said they'd been doing this for a while too. So as far as like the vibe of the night, I took my cues from them. They pretty much knew exactly what they wanted. Again, felt like they'd done this before. And that's pretty much how it started out.
So this sort of talking and, sort of intimate kind of conversation, that lasted for hours.
Yeah, I mean, I was initially supposed to be with her for about 4 or 5 hours. I got paid as soon as I got there. And I'm thinking, again, up to this point, a lot of what I'd been doing was just hanging out. And at that point, yeah, it was 4 or 5 hours into it. I thinking I'm about to go home, and then all of a sudden he was like, all right, we're gonna turn this thing up a little bit. The music changed. More baby oil comes out. Baby oil and KY. I'm like, who got this? It's baby oil and KY comes out. It's heated. They've been heating the baby oil the whole time that we talking in the tub, right? So this was like they kind of knew what they were doing. I'm still trying to figure out what's going on. Yeah, that's when it kind of started off. He was more so wanting us to just talk to each other. His whole thing is like being very verbal. So he was in the kitchen in the dark with a bottle of Ciroc. And we're sitting on the couch, and he was like, what do you like about him? You picked him from the site. What made you pick him from the site? What do you like about her? He was more so, he wanted us to talk and act like he was not there at all. So that's kind of how it progressed. But it was a very long progression over the course of hours and hours.
Right, because at one point he said it's the love hour.
Right. And that's when when the love hour happened and he became Brother Love, then it was like a totally different, the vibe changed. It was more so like the music switched up. He was asking, did he want to refresh drinks and stuff, like a cool host almost, but you can kind of tell like they had some type of formula of where they wanted the night to go. So I was just along for the ride, honestly.
Okay, so you guys start with sexual contact in the beginning, and that actually leads up to penetration at the end?
Yeah, it was more so just physical touch. So there was lots of baby oil around, as I said before, and he was like, okay, well, why don't you put some baby oil on her? And then she was like, he asked her, do you want you to put some baby oil on him? So it was more so that talking, caressing, stuff like that for hours, like for an ungodly long amount of time. And at a certain point, she would start to kind of like come towards me to kind of like move things along. And he would be like, no, 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 go back. You know, you just tell him you moving too fast, you know? So he never was telling anybody what he wanted them to do. He never gave demands to say, touch him, do this. He would say, what do you want to do? Do you want to do this? Do you like that about him? It was all about the verbal cues for him.
Okay, so at the end, you guys actually engage in intercourse.
Yeah, at the end, about like hour 8 or 9 or something like that. It was
What?
insane.
At the end of the intercourse, though, something specific happens.
Right, so he wanted me to finish on climax on her. So and this was something that she said that she was ready for as well. Again, we've been there for a couple hours. It was a weird thing because at this point in time, I'd never had like another male in the room like that. So when he was like, finish, you got to finish manually. So it was a task. Like I feel like this arm was significantly bigger than this arm by the time I left because I'm just like, you know, this is weird. He's literally off to the side, drinking Ciroc, talking about, get it, King. Get it, King. It was just a weird.
Get it, King. Get it, King. Imagine a nigga cheering you on to nut. Yo, get it, King. You deserve it, Daddy. You deserve it, man. You've been scrambling and scraping all night. It's been hour 9. It's hour 10 in here. You deserve it, Daddy. Get that nut. Pause. God damn.
Couple hours. It was a weird thing because at this point in time, I'd never had like another male in the room like that. So when he was like, finish, you got to finish manually. So it was a task. Like I feel like this arm was significantly bigger than this arm by the time I left because I'm just like, you know, this is weird. He's literally off to the side, drinking Ciroc, talking about, get it, King. Get her, King. It was just a weird, you know, he's in like this. So I'm like, all right, this is surreal. But so I finish, and my thought process is, you know, they were getting up to go take a shower because we were in the living room and they were going to go back to their back room. So when she got up to go to the back room, I didn't think anything of it. You're not going to use these KY Johnson & Johnson towels to wipe that off, right? So I'm thinking you're going to go to the back room. So it never crossed my mind what they were doing back there. Had no idea that she was finger painting on his chest with, you know, so.
Your man juice.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was funny was when I had Punisher on my show, and the exact same routine, right? Have sex, pull out, bust on her, and then she would like run off in the other room, you know, with it. Because a lot of times with him, like Diddy would go in the other room before they finished. And she would like go to him and close the door. And he said when he watched the trial, and when she said that, you know, she would take the cum and rub it on his chest, he was actually relieved because he thought that Diddy was eating it.
I don't know if I'd be relieved. I'm probably equally as terrified from both of those things, right? I'm like, there's no way this is a good scenario.
It's all
But,
bad, no matter how you do it.
It's a lot. I found out just like he did during the court process, and I'm reading this transcript with my girlfriend, and she's like, he did what? So it was like, we were all blindsided by that. I never got that vibe from him, you know, that this was something that he was, to me, it was just, he's all about the visual. He wants to watch. I didn't know they were engaging and stuff in the back room. When they would leave, he would be like, all right, bro, you can go ahead and order room service and smoke and You know, if you want to leave, you can leave, or I'll come back out and we'll hang out for a second, and then maybe we'll do another one. But, you know, this is like 8 or 9 hours in. I'm not trying to do nothing else. So more times than not, it would just be wrapped up after that.
Damn. Get it, King. Get it. That's nuts. That nigga did one more. I ain't watching these yet. Yo, chat, we just kind of chilling. I'm gonna chill till 8, bro. Like I know, like it's a holiday week, and I'm still trying to put a little streaming hours in. Don't be like, damn, Ak, you just watching videos today. You know I be scrambling and scraping for y'all, chat. Pause. You know I deserve it. Chill. Nah, but it's July 4th. Let me chill a little bit. I'll stay on till 9, and then I get off and shit like that. You know, just trying to keep the streak going. I think we on day 5. I think so. Get me? Again, I'm trying to figure out the particulars because I'm about to go on vacation, chat. I'm trying to figure out the particulars how I could stream like an hour a day during my vacation. An hour a day. It's like an hour a day type shit. You feel me? But yeah, just you know, I know we have a high standard for streaming. Just give me a little break. We just finished a big trial. You know, it's the 4th. I'm sipping a little bit. I told you I don't got no friends. Nobody, I ain't gonna lie, I swear, nobody invited me to a cookout today. That shit was crazy. Niggas do cookouts still? Not one invite. Like, yo, bro, what you doing today? Not one. I don't know what's going on. My phone look dry. I have to check my other phone. Man. I ain't get invited to nothing. So I said, I'm gonna just get on stream, man. I'm like, nobody love me but the chat niggas, man. Yo, you ever feel lonely? I'm like, ain't nobody love me but the chat niggas, man. Let me get on stream real quick. I watch some videos with y'all. It's all good. It's all good.
Okay, so you got paid $3,500, and they booked you 2 more times.
Yeah, they booked me 3 more times. One of those times, I came over and I got off the elevator and he pretty much met me at the door and was like, hey, she's not feeling good right now, so we're gonna scratch this and do it like a different night. I'm like, all right, cool. So.
Okay, now, as you're getting to the 2nd and 3rd session, it was pretty much the same routine, but certain things were different because at one point, you guys would be having sex, you and Cassie, and then Diddy would like tag in.
Yeah, like so we'd be engaging and he would be like, all right, King, like I'm about to tap in right now. And then he would say, go over there. So I would go over there and then he'd come over and then they would engage in their own passionate intercourse, which wouldn't last too long. And then he'd be like, all right, I'm good, come back over. And he'd go back over to where he was. And then I'd sit there and yeah, he kind of switched off but he never wanted me around him, which is why I thought that the gay accusations were a bit much because knowing him as long as I've known him, right, I never got that vibe from him. He never even wanted me next to him when this was happening. I didn't want him next to me either, so it seemed like we were all on the same page, right? So
yeah,
he did his thing.
Although rubbing your cum on his nipples is somewhat gay, so
I wasn't involved in that. I wasn't involved in that.
I know
but
you
yes,
weren't, but I'm just saying.
Yes. Yeah, what he did, that was diabolical.
There's
what he
that
did
one
behind
hill you have
closed
to get
doors.
over, to try to dispel that myth. I'm just saying, it's a big hill. It's very steep.
It's a very big hill.
It's a very steep hill. Now, in the beginning, you and Cassie were using condoms, but that switched at one point.
Yeah, I think one time we went without, and to be clear on that, he would always ask, do you want to do this without a condom? And there was
Yo, chat, I'm gonna keep it up being with you, bro. Like, again, yo, I do think Diddy gay and everything, but hearing these sex workers talk about it, yo, Diddy freaky. He gay, he whatever. Bro, he's always asking questions. Like, yo, you want to do that? Nah. Tell him how you feel. Whatever. Go, King, get your nut. Yo, this thing look like the best host in the world. How the fuck is he sex trafficking? The nigga is always asking you how to make you happy. He's not... Nah, bro, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. They railroaded Diddy, bro. He freaky. Diddy went to jail for being gay. That's what I'm thinking now. He went to jail for being gay. That's a fact. Because this nigga sound like he's a great host. He's passing you Ciroc. He might pass you a condom. You bought a nut. He cheering you on. Get it, king. You know what I mean? He's like, nah, hold on, nah. He telling the bitch to appreciate you. Yo, tell him what you appreciate about him. Damn. What more do you want from me? Like, God damn, bro.
Although rubbing your cum on his nipples is somewhat gay, so
I wasn't involved in that. I wasn't involved in that.
I know
but
you
yes,
weren't, but I'm just saying.
Yes. Yeah,
talking
what
about
he
the gay
did,
rumors,
that was diabolical.
There's
What he
that
did
one
behind
hill you have
closed
to get
doors.
over. You know, to
Picasso
try to
on his
dispel that
chest.
myth. I'm just saying. It's a big hill. It's very
a lot.
steep.
It's a very big hill.
It's a very steep hill. Now, in the beginning, you and Cassie were using condoms, but that switched at one point.
Yeah, I think one time we went without, and to be clear on that, he would always ask, "Do you want to do this without a condom?" And they would have a conversation as if I'm not in the room, very calm. She'd be like, "Oh, I don't know." He's like, "These guys are tested." And she would ask me, I'm like, "Yeah, I'm tested." And he'd be like, "Do you want to do this?" And she'd be like, "No, not right now." And he would kind of just let that go. He was never forceful in like saying, "You need to do this, you need to do that." So, and I think one of the times out of the 4 was one time that we did engage in intercourse without protection, but it was very quick. She came to me and started that process and looked to him to see if this was something that was like cool to do, and he kind of gave a head nod, and that's what it was.
In the words of Cameron, how's the pussy?
How do you think it was? It was great.
It was great.
It was great. I was singing "Me and You" in my head the whole time.
Oh, shit. Ding, 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 ding.
It's me.
I think Cassie was tight.
Man, come on.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I think
know
most of
that
these niggas
shit
could nut, not only because Diddy was walking around him jerking off. Man,
No, a nigga walking around jerking off behind you.
Cassie.
I'm not gonna be able to. I'm not gonna be able to get hard, bro.
shit gotta be.
Behind me, walking around. Nah, man, I can't do it.
You know what I mean?
I can't focus. It's not gonna happen.
Nah, they got surgeries and shit that could address
But
it.
wait a minute, I've ran trains on bitches before. As in high school. But that was, I guess that was different. It was unexpected, and I was already fucking. Niggas just came in and got in front of him. I'm not looking at him. He's in the front. I can't even see his penis. He can't see mine. We good. Eiffel Tower that bitch, but yeah, I ain't gonna lie. A nigga walking around while I'm smashing, just watching us, he's stroking up. Nah, I ain't gonna lie. That's a little much, bro.
But shout out to Cassie though.
That's a little
I ain't
much.
trying to shame her. No type.
To
of
each his own. Don't get me wrong. But that's a little much for me.
His other nigga. That other
Don't get me
other guy.
wrong, man. I don't judge people the way they have sex. If everybody's consenting, leave those damn people alone, man. We got enough shit to worry about.